Tonight, we're heading north of Copenhagen to Gentofte to dine at Jordnær, meaning down to earth in Danish. Located inside the Gentofte Hotel, Jordnær opened in 2017. The restaurant is the brainchild of chef Erik Vilgaard and his wife Tina, who sold everything they had to bring their vision to life. And together, they created a warm, welcoming atmosphere that perfectly reflects Danish hospitality. Dining room is filled with natural light, comfortable seating, and light natural wood throughout, offering a cozy yet refined experience. Jordnær specializes in seafood, with a current menu focused entirely on fish and shellfish. Chef Erik, who trained at renowned restaurants such as Sørø Krog, Almanac, and spent 3 years at the famed Noma, and works tirelessly to ensure that only the finest produce reaches the plate. Since its opening, Jordnær has been on an incredible journey. Just 9 months after its debut, it earned its first Michelin star. In 2020, it earned its second star, and despite an unfortunate fire in 2023 that caused a 2-month closure, Jordnær bounced back even stronger, and in 2024, it became the 3rd restaurant here in Denmark to receive 3 Michelin stars. Tina, who runs the front of house with grace and professionalism, has been instrumental in creating the restaurant's inviting yet refined atmosphere. Her team was awarded the Michelin Fine Service Award, a testament to their exceptional hospitality. Today, we'll be experiencing their renowned tasting menu, which highlights the very best of Denmark seafood in an elegant yet approachable setting. Let's see what's in store for us tonight.
For the Roque Champagne with Tapache, it's a Comte Champagne with Prestige in the house from 2011. The most Pinot Noir, 30% Chardonnay.
There was just one menu option this evening, a 16-expression tasting menu priced at 4,000 krona.
Starting you off with the first serving, we do caviar. This is the meat from the heads. We braise in a spice bouillon, umeshu, and sudachi skin emulsion. Crispy crusted filled with a lacquer gel and a yuzu emulsion. On top of that, poached Danish black lobster, a little bit of satchel pepper, chocolate fried shooter combo with sapkaus and a kinomadi. One bite with these various sauces. Next up, you're having our tuna tart, rice flour tartlet. Inside, you have a tartare on the tutolet, wasabi oil, pigu yoga, top the whole thing up with purebred caviar.
It's like one of those things that there's a canapé at an event, swiping the tray of that. Oh.
Our rosette waffle is like crispy Japanese beer bass. We filled with a salad on fjordtrons. Then it's pure beauty caviar with on top.
Ooh, pretty. Almost looks like a lotus root from this side.
Takoyaki, a Japanese donut. Here in Denmark, if you need a bit more lobster. On some shiso, sancho as well. On top we put a piece of glazed and smoked eel. Beluga caviar on top.
Whoa, it's like jiggling. All the amuse-bouche were bold, intense, textural, and presented with real finesse. I really enjoyed the punchy flavors throughout. With 7 pairings to choose from, I decided on the mixed option. Part wine, part non-alcoholic.
Wines, the Loire Valley's best producer called Louis Benjamin Laguenot. The Blanc Fumé from the Santana 22 vintage.
Our scallops. We cut on the press with a rosemary jam with a little bit of elegance. Some seasonal flour we finish with rosemary jam split.
It's very pretty. Firm, fresh scallops with pops of finger lime in a sour, tangy broth that felt fresh and left my tongue tingling.
Serving a burst, the possum of the day, tartare. Sauce made out of the head, the carcass or the langoustine, seasoned with cognac and infused vanilla pod. Our own selection of aromatic herbs and flour, and I'm refreshing it with a tomato water.
We just appreciate the intricacy that those flowers were all laid by hand and brought from the kitchen, and it's still immaculate. Well, this one was more of a gelatinous dish, sweet with a touch of earthiness, but fairly bland overall. The presentation was more exciting than the flavour.
We have a non-alcoholic distillation from gin. We mix it with green apple, and then we fill it with cucumber juice and lime juice. Some sweetness.
Here we have our oyster. Normally, we finish with a horseradish, dill oil for the wasabi oil.
Oysters. The oysters were fresh and snappy, earthy and full of flavour. The horseradish sauce came through beautifully, balanced by the cucumber and the zesty acidity of the lime. My favourite oyster dish I've ever had.
This one you're going to have is a single vineyard called Jordnaer. They're located in Jordnær, made with a green variety called Jordnaer.
Arenas birdies from the merge. Some crystal caviar together with the herbed and flower salt. Nasturtium with a little bit of watercress, purple onion flowers. Now I'm pouring an almond meat with roasted almond oil.
The asparagus was fresh and vibrant, nutty and a little salty, beautifully ribboned, though this one didn't quite win me over as a salad.
Dans mes serveurs de tel pas, the brush lobsters is one magnolia roy. And on the top you have the red oxalis, pure one beurre plus, with some elderflower oil and some ginger.
The lobster was snappy and perfectly poached, served with a sauce that was buttery, tangy and bright with citrus.
Watermelon, which of course gives a little bit of mouth-watering freshness to it. Then a little bit of clarified Sicilian tomato as well. Then we round it off with a little cordial that we make with white tea, together with a bit of tea root pepper.
Japanese some matches, dry stays between 7 to 15 days. Underneath it, we have the ravioli base on part of the belly. Inside of the tartar or oyster, spiced with a bit of wasabi. White ponzu here based on mirin.
Right away, the sesame hits the nose. The hamachi itself is firm with a subtle nuttiness and umami from the dry aging. The belly is soft and fatty, perfectly succulent, carrying briny, creamy, earthy flavours from the oyster.
Time for some more king crab and caviar now, served on top of our version of the charouche, original Japanese egg custard, where they mix eggs and dash.
The creaminess from the charomushi, the crunchy daikon, the pops of finger lime, everything comes alive in the last few spoonfuls with a dash of broth and warming spice. Heartwarming to the finish. It's also the aesthetic of all the cutlery so far has been really, really lovely. It's very modern, very minimalist. Plateware as well.
We've made kind of a fusion bread between Japanese milk bread and then French gouge. Bit of roll and butter, Danish, organic, and filled with lots of sizzle. These are based off ulti for dao bao. We add a little bit of fresh quiz.
Time for the finale of the king crab. It's very gently poached. Underneath the upper tarragon emulsion, which foam is based on a Danish wild fought blue mud.
Well, who loves the Bernardo Cumbel plates? Perfectly cooked crab with a foam that brought deep, rich, warming mussel flavours. Not what you'd expect at all. No acidity or brightness, just pure intensity. And that buttery bread was ideal for mopping up every single last drop of that incredible sauce. That plate is clean. Clean plate club.
Salmon rachet. Yeah, that's ingredient 22 vintage. We are serving a piece of Danish turbot, and we make a heart on the end piece of LA, and then two sauces. The green one is made with wild watercress. Here is a foamy sauce based on the French habitat.
I love the pearlescent effect going on the fish. The plate looked more appealing before the foam came on. The turbot was firm with a gelatinous mousse and herbal note, though for me one of them had quite a soapy floral flavour. Not my favourite and a little underwhelming after the rich dishes before. It's an Oremus by Petonias, 2017. You're ready now.
On the very bottom of the plate, we have light chilies. On the top, we have the caisse de bois, and mirab juice, and one rose pink.
That pink is just too perfectly pink. Floral notes from rose, with sweetness and bright acidity from strawberries, and an overall very intense strawberry flavour. I really enjoyed this one.
Sizzle signature sister. In the center, we have one milk coffee, and on top, we have the collier de vanilla. Side with jasmine and letter with douane, a lavender tea. Milk ice cream and the finish condition on the top.
This dessert was thick, syrupy and chewy. I love the honey with lavender coming through on the nose. Beneath it, the parfait was smooth and creamy, and a surprising citrusy flavour came from the lavender. The twin on top, perfect too. Thin, snappy and crisp. It's coffee time.
Here we are on the last small servings. We have some cannelé with rum and vanilla, and some madeleine with amaki lemon zest. The melon is a white fresh melon from Japan. Bombos ligorbam with a dark chocolate ganache and a martiga with is aklamluko from Denmark. The white one with a white chocolate ganache and a nipun of Chinese simple pig. The butterfly is on the pressure twins, while the truffle are with a dark chocolate and chestnut.
And for the final bite of today's menu is this jelly. The total for today, excluding service, came to just over 7,000 corona. Thank you. Absolutely. I've just finished up at Jordnær. I was greeted by Tina, and immediately we got to chatting, and within minutes it was like having a conversation with somebody I'd known for years. She was so warm, friendly, engaging. The low ceilings, the exposed wooden beams, the pops of colour from the artwork, to the dried flowers and the fuzzy moss hanging on the wall, to the warm lighting and all the vinyl, and all the wonderful trolleys, from the aperitifs to the tea to the champagne. I love the space, I really, really did. Such a warm, cozy and inviting place. At times a little too warm, to the extent where my camera was actually overheating. As the evening progressed and the sun set, it did kind of come down to more comfortable temperatures. And that brings me on to the staff. The hospitality here, it is warm, it's friendly. It's almost like being at a family gathering where they just can kind of join in the conversation, and they're telling you anecdotes and their connections to the dish, the sauce, or the whiskey. Every single member of staff that we interacted with was a really positive experience. They're all friendly, relaxed, they're attentive but unobtrusive, down to when one of the chefs were presenting one of my dishes, he noticed one of the garnishes had been slightly misplaced. He whipped out a pair of tweezers and did a tableside adjustment to make sure that the dish was absolutely perfect. To even the point where I took the napkin off my lap and put it on the table just for a second. I don't remember what I was doing at the time. Within seconds, the napkin had been folded on the table in front of me. I hadn't even gotten up from my seat. All in, Tina and her team have a real magical touch going on here. And like I said before, within minutes of meeting, it felt like I was catching up with an old friend. And the same can be said about Chef Eric. From the moment I met him, he was throwing quips and we were exchanging banter and joking. We'd never met each other, we don't know each other, and yet there was that instant connection. And even towards the end of the meal where he came over, I think he must have come over to our table, we were chatting for 15 plus minutes. It's so amazing how he's so down to earth, so unpretentious, and at the same time so unapologetically himself. And that brings me on to the food. The highlights for me were definitely most of the amuse-bouche. From the moment you sit down, the flavours just hit you right, left and centre. There's just no stopping it. And it only actually starts to calm down and dissipate once the main menu actually begins. And that's kind of where I found there were some really good dishes, there were some good dishes, and some which were, almost forgettable. But that being said, all the proteins were cooked really, really well. My favourite dish out of the mains would have to be the king crab and the mussel foam/sauce. There was so much depth and intensity. And also to note as well, there are many, many luxury ingredients, from crab to lobster to turbot, lots of caviar. The pairing, I went for half wine and half non-alcoholic. The wines themselves were great, but the non-alcoholic pairing really, really good, and they worked so well with the dishes. It's one of those places where I'd happily go back there tomorrow night for dinner. And as usual, on to the next one. Goodbye.